Hey, this is Trevor from Face to Face. Welcome to Launch.
Ignorance is bliss means to me, personally, the act of completely absorbing ourself in ourself, however selfish that may come off, absorbing ourself within our band and what we'd like to do, regardless of the state of music, video, radio, the industry in general. We kind of just turned a blind eye toward the goings-on of other bands and trends and whatnot, and just kind of got into our own thing. And it was it felt great. It was wonderful. So that's, I guess, the bliss part, and the ignorance is paying very little attention to things going on around us at the time. No, critics have always kind of written us off. They probably think that we were a Johnny-come-lately, late on the freight on the punk movement or anything, which is just silly. Critics gotta, justify their jobs and all. I understand that, but no, we're not. We've never been media darlings. Bands that sell a zillionth of the records we sell seem to get mass amounts of coverage. We're definitely still in the shadows as far as mainstream's concerned. The new stuff definitely, I think, tips its hat to punk rock in all the good and positive ways, while broadening the spectrum a little. Nothing cheesy and pointless just for adventuresome sake, because we all still have our groundings in various forms of punk rock and pop music. I went through a really strong Kiss phase when I was a real little boy, a little brat. I figured, I'd become Ace Frehley soon enough, and then, the first wave of punk kind of came around. I was pretty young, and Sid Vicious looked pretty cool, and I thought, well, I want to look that cool. And he wasn't much of a bass player, and, I kind of liked stuff like Stiff Little Fingers and The Clash, but, big on Beatles and stuff. I was kind of into heavy stuff. I listened to some Black Sabbath when I was young and whatever. But it seemed like I was mostly drawn to intense music, kind of serious music. I don't know, it seems as if, to me, the industry itself tries to set trends more than it allows trends to grow and form. And, one cool thing happens, like, Beck has a song called Loser, and now you've got everybody's got to have that drum beat, and the one I'm talking about, with a little folky guitar, and not making fun of anyone in particular, but I think you all know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of that going on these days, and it doesn't interest me in the slightest, but, let them have it. It's all cool.
I think our new album still has plenty of power and aggression and energy, but it's not the same as the other music because, for many reasons, it's not quite as fast, but it's also, I think, a little more substantive and just you can kind of dig into it on a lot more levels than just, cool music to skateboard to or whatever. Major labels obviously work for lots of bands. Otherwise, they wouldn't exist at all. And most of the people that slag them are people that have been chewed up and spit out, which is, definitely to be expected. What radio's done with melodic punk rock or whatever you want to call it. I mean, even like your white hip-hop, like Sublime kind of stuff, they've taken it and homogenized it down into nice little sound bites that can sell their Mountain Dew commercials. And the songs are just, they're not really worth listening to. There's nothing to sink your teeth into at all. Well, in the late 70s, early 80s, I guess, like Cheap Trick and Ted Nugent, Kiss, Led Zeppelin. Although I only liked Led Zeppelin as a kid. When I got old enough to know better, I didn't like them much anymore. When alternative radio first became alternative, it was an alternative to something, and now we need an alternative to that because it's garbage. So that is probably my biggest bone to pick. I can't even flip on alternative radio anymore. It makes me sick.